get a glass of water actually first?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure. No, you're good.
You want one?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Just gonna mute my phone. So I don't bother this. What the fuck just fell in my head? Cool.
Well, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked to be on it. This is my first in-person interview.
Kidding,
With,
really?
yeah, with the news, yeah. I did one that was via Zoom.
Yeah. Looks good. To start, can you just say and spell your first last name?
Of course, yeah. Let's put all these. My name is Deryk Trujillo. It's spelled DERYK TRUJILLO.
Awesome. So I'm basically asking all the candidates the same 10 questions.
Cool.
Pretend like this isn't here. You're just talking with me.
Sounds good.
To start, one, tell me a little bit about yourself.
For sure. I'm 26 years old. I have 2 degrees: business marketing, graphic design. I was born and raised in Pueblo. My grandfather is a veteran from. He was a prisoner of war in World War II in the Japanese internment camp. My father is a Desert Storm veteran. My mother is she's an immigrant from Mexico. I'm the first generation on her side. She was a small business owner for 20 years. Other than that, I've run this podcast here called Street Champs, which is now a big part of my life. I interview entrepreneurs, musicians, city leaders. Even I've recently started interviewing homeless people as well. I really just want to get anyone's story out there, and I'm a talker basically.
Right. Why are you running for mayor? I think it's so interesting, given how young you are.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to run for mayor?
I started interviewing some of those city leaders and more talking to them in person. And they're great people, but their policies, like you said earlier, they just didn't align to what I saw and what I thought I wanted Pueblo to look like, and what my colleagues and my friends, what we kind of aspire Pueblo to be. It's like they're not meeting in the middle, and I think the disconnect comes from the youth. Everyone running for mayor right now, just other than one candidate, they're 50, 60 years old. It's not that same world they grew up in anymore.
Right.
Basically, it's time for a change.
Right. What is your top priority?
Public safety, really. Keeping young graduates, high school and college graduates in Pueblo to boost our economy. Homelessness, really everyone's top priorities.
Right. Yeah, especially public safety. I mean, everyone keeps talking about that. In that vein, the Pueblo Police Department says that youth violence has increased by 28% in the last 3 years. I mean, what do you do to address that?
I mean, I personally believe, I don't think the answer, this came up in the mayor debate too, I don't think the answer is hitting them, striking them on the head with the hammer of the law every time. It's punishment is not the answer. It's rehabilitation is the answer. We have to get to these kids at the schools the first time they get in trouble, and make that shift in their life to where they could go right, but let's make them go left. We have to, maybe they don't have dads and moms, and we have to, each situation is different, and we have to respond to each situation uniquely.
Right. Similar to that, the Pueblo Police Department also says there's been an increase in gang activity. A lot of residents are concerned about that increase in gang activity.
Yeah.
What would you say to those residents regarding the situation?
I mean, those questions kind of go hand in hand. You know, this just came off. You kind of, whoops. You know, from the people I've talked to, you know, at some age you phase out of the gang lifestyle. You know, and these younger children, kids, teenagers are feeling in their shoes. So those kind of go hand in hand with the youth violence and the gang culture. It's not the old man, you know, gangsters like the movies portray. It's the 10, 11, 12-year-olds that you got to worry about.
Right. Yeah. No, so true. Expanding a little bit outside the city here, but Pueblo County is considered a child care desert. What would you do to, you know, make child care, one, more affordable, but also more available?
I think those problems with the child care desert, the food desert, you know, it's not, we don't have the money. It's just we're not allocating these funds appropriately. We're not keeping a close enough eye on where these dollars are going. In my personal belief, what I remember growing up in Pueblo all my life is that when recreational marijuana got here, they were saying this is going to go to schools. This is going to improve children's lives, and it never did. So I think we need to take a closer look at all those dollars, put them where they will matter in childcare, transportation as well for these, because if you have childcare but no way to get there, it does nothing.
Right. U.S. Census Bureau says that 23% of Pueblo residents live at or below the poverty line, way above national average, way above Colorado's average. How do you bring that percentage back down?
A livable wage. First off, we need to do some research on what the livable wage in Pueblo is. You know, change that every year, because that's going to go up every year. I think, going back to my previous point, keeping young graduates, keeping young families here in Pueblo, it's gonna revitalize other parts of the community. You know, once I don't want to misspeak. The only way, I believe, to solve the poverty issue in Pueblo is it's one at a time, slowly. You're gonna have to talk to these people. You're gonna have to find out what their unique issue is, and we're gonna have to tackle it one individual, one family at a time. I don't think there's not a blanket, you know, solution for each of these people and their families.
Right. This time around last year, the current mayor told KRDO that, you know, a comprehensive plan to address homelessness was going to come out. That plan has never come out. How would you address homelessness?
I've actually been in contact with a gentleman in Texas. He does homeless outreach full time, and what he told me is what they do is they make systematic lists, and even if you're only intervening with, you know, 1 to 5 people a day, but if you're really like changing those 1 to 5 people a day, that's really going to stack up. You know, it's not about attacking the whole group. It's about, you know, it's about making a difference in one person at a time. It's impossible to do everything at once.
Right. What's one thing you would do to revitalize Pueblo?
Well, aside from aside from keeping young graduates and young entrepreneurs here, my plan as mayor is I'm going to donate 3/4 of my mayoral salary every single year to those young graduates, but I'm going to, in the form of a grant, but the catch is you have to stay in Pueblo to receive that money. Aside from that revitalization, you know, everyone's talking about, you know, new water parks or concert venues or stuff like that. You know, that'd be great and all, but going back to our previous point, no one's going to want to attend these awesome venues and attractions if the public safety is not up to par. You know, so revitalization is going to come with, you know, public safety improvement.
Yeah. If you became mayor, is there one thing, is there something about how the city is run or the current processes within the city that you would change?
Yeah. You know, being a young person, I'm the newest candidate. I'm the least experienced candidate, but what I see is the city council is so disconnected. They bicker, they talk about each other outside of the building. We need to start there. We need to if you go to any job, they have team building exercises. You know, any single school job, everything runs smoother when you work well together. So we need to take a look at our leaders and see what is your I guess beef or with another person. You know, why can't we just lead and kind of let our policies speak for us, basically,
Right.
rather than speak about each other.
Yeah. Just to kind of end on this last point, you know, as ballots start going out here at the end of the month, why should people vote for you?
People should vote for me because what I lack in experience, I make up for in time, energy, dedication. I'm the only candidate that's doing exactly what you're doing. I'm taking my camera and I'm going to talk to hundreds of people every month, you know, and I have thousands of hours on Street Champs, with those conversations recorded and ready to listen to at any given time for anyone. So I can't speak for these other candidates, but I know my feet are to the ground, wanting to Pueblo to change. I'm going to be the first one to put my money where my mouth is, with the three-fourths of my salary going right back to Pueblo youth. I know that I might not be the most experienced, but what I'm hoping to do is I want to inspire young people to see that they can do this. You know, you don't have to know everything. You know, you can learn as you go, and you can be honest with people and say, hey, I don't know everything, but I'm not afraid to go find someone that knows, bring them on my team, ask them their opinions, and then we could form an answer together. And I think a lot of the other candidates, that's kind of where they're lacking. They're quick to say, I've done this, and this, so I know what to do here, and here. You don't know what to do here, and here, because each situation is unique. And if you claim to have all the answers, then you're just gonna look like more of a fool when stuff doesn't happen, like the homeless plan. You know, it never came out, but you lied about it. You didn't have to lie about it. You could have just said, I'm gonna make this plan as we go, and I'm gonna ask, you know, homeless activists how we can improve the plan as it goes.
Right. Yeah. That's all the questions I have. Anything else you want to add or say, or anything we can talk about?
Yeah. As far as, because you're coming from Springs, right?
Yeah.
What is the Springs temperature on the Pueblo mayoral run?
What do you mean?
Like what is the, because you guys just got a new mayor, right?
Yeah.
What is, like, I don't know, what is the relationship between Pueblo mayor and Springs mayor?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
What's the mayor's name in Springs?
Mayor Yemi Mobilade.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I never met him. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we could keep going.
Right. Well, I mean, you bring up a good point. Like, that's interesting. I don't know the connection between the Pueblo mayor and the Colorado Springs mayor.
Mm-hmm. The Pueblo mayor was just in Chihuahua, Mexico, and I guess Chihuahua and Pueblo are now sister cities.
Oh, really?
Maybe, I don't know. Do more research on that. Don't take my word for it, but that's something that's up in the air now.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be covering the race, so I'll be here in November, on November 7th, and doing this whole thing. So
Hell
if you
yeah.
have any questions,
Cool.
feel free to reach out.
Hell yeah. Would you want to come on the podcast and talk sometime about your job?
Sure.
That'd be sick. I would love to interview you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's interesting. How often do you run it?
6 days a week.
6 days a week?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Six shows. All 6 shows are different.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hours.
Oh yeah, this is all I do.
You have a good setup.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It didn't start like this, but
Yeah, no, it's nice. How many? What is it on? Just any podcast?
yeah, it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Cool.
Bro, I got a funny question to ask.
Yeah.
Could I take a photo with that mic with the 13? Yeah. Could I take like a selfie with like?
Sure.
All right. Let's see.